Very good afternoon to you, our viewers. You're welcome to another wonderful episode of Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odunwayo. On the show today, we'll be giving you tidbits about what happened this past weekend. Perhaps the end of the footballing weekend and the biggest game of the clubs. The biggest game all clubs want to be a part of. Unfortunately, two can be a part of it. And usually, the last game of the season was played. As we move into this new week, we are moving into a time when footballers go to the beach to enjoy with their spouse or their girlfriends, as the case may be. So this is the show where we wrap things up for the season. I have with me my co-anchor, my co-analyst, and my colleague in Anyton Daramola. It's looking really lovely this morning.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Not affected by the cold weather.
I'm not.
Sparkling fresh.
I'm not.
And you're ready to hit the week. Even
Absolutely.
though there's a free, there's no free day for us, but there's a free day on Friday, and this time next week is a free day for people as well. So,
exactly. But it's always good to be here.
Still looking
it's
sweet.
a pleasure. Thank you for the compliment.
He's looking too much. All right, Shegun Odunwayo is my name once again, and we're ready to begin like we always do with the front page of Punch Sports Extra, the print edition. And this is a man who is usually on the front page, donning the colors of his football club. But this time around, he's back in green and white, not just on the front page. On the pitch a couple of days ago, he was scoring, not just against any other team, but against Ghana, one of Nigeria's most difficult opponents in what was tagged the Jollof War in the Unity Cup. Cyril Dizas, Cyril Dizas, a man who was not invited for a while for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, despite the fact that he was doing great things for his club, and this opportunity came by for him to be back in the team, and it was right there on the score sheet again, showing us what he knows how to do best. Cyril Dizas.
Yeah, a very good one for Cyril Dizas. I think it's a very good opportunity for him to actually showcase himself for the Super Eagles. You understand? If you are going to break into, that front three, or that front, especially as a top striker.
Is it front three? Just front one.
Yeah, it's front one. I beg your pardon. Thank you. But you have a list of three stronger guys who you would obviously pick ahead of Cyril Dizas. You understand?
Yeah.
When you talk about Victor Osimhen,
I think it's just
you talk
Victor
about
Osimhen.
Taiwo Awoniyi, you'd want to pick Taiwo Awoniyi over him.
Start. Okay,
don't talk about the club form now. Talk about
at
the Super Eagles, yes, at the Super Eagles level, and then you talk about Victor Boniface, and
Tolu Arokodare now.
It's a good one for him to show the coach that, okay, this is what I'm made of, this is stuff what I'm made of, and this is what I can do, this is what I can bring, to the table. And very good for him, because that goal apparently became his 30th goal of the season and 7th assist. So he had 30 goals and 7 assists, both for club and country. Wow, that's a good record.
Massive.
That's massive. And did you see the goal?
Yeah,
it was very composed, pretty composed.
Well, we have to hail that pass off
of
Sadiq Ismaila.
Yes,
it does this week in, week out at Remo Stars, and it was good for him to do it on the international stage where everybody was watching, including Ivan Toney. Perfect cross. Looks like he measured it like a tailor, landed right at the feet of Cyril Dizas,
and then,
who did his duty.
Yeah, controlled and very disappointed. So it's a good one, and it's a good one for Coach Shelle.
Yes,
he has
talking about Shelle now. He's equally on the front page. That's why I want to bring him very quickly. Cool. He's happy he has won his first trophy for Nigeria. First trophy. Okay. Anyway, he said first trophy.
Somebody said something on Twitter.
He's like first trophy.
I usually win. Most Tottenham coach says he wins something in second season. And this person says he wins something. When quite funny, anyways.
Coach Shelle has said, "Hey, it's good to win for Nigeria, win a trophy, and he's hoping for more." And Nigerians were saying, "Bros, this trophy, that's not the trophy we're talking about. You better be serious." But hey, it's a trophy, anytime.
Yes, and it's the third time Nigeria would win, that trophy.
Now we the win now.
Oh well, it's,
and the likes.
At least we won.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. It's a plus for the team.
It's like Arsenal's Emirates Cup.
The fact that he had about 10, if I'm not mistaken, now homegrown players, join
a lot of MPFL players.
Exactly. So it's a good one. Let's just wait to see. The big win for Eric Shelle, now would be to qualify Nigeria for the World Cup, which is hold on, which is almost It's looking like it's impossible. It's almost impossible, but you know, it is still not impossible.
Yeah,
It
the
can
Nigerian spirit.
actually. No. It doesn't have to be Nigerian spirits. Just win games, and then you see where it leads you. It's just simple. Win all the games. It's a must win all the games now. But well, it's good. Let's just ask the coach. Coach Shelley, can we win all the games? All right. You know,
still sticking with the front page. They've talked about this man almost all season. He scored the highest number of goals this year in Europe. I mean, this season that just ended in Europe. Plays for Sporting Lisbon. Gyökeres, and reports have it that he might just be on his way to Arsenal. Quick one, Anyton. Is it the solution that Arteta has been needing to lift the Premiership and even the Champions League?
Well, a proven goal scorer, a monster for a goal scorer, is the proven solution for Mikel Arteta. However, getting a striker of that caliber would likely not be enough, because there are days where you need others to step up. Because you recall last season when they had what's his name, Bukayo Saka out for a while. You know, it was obvious that somebody was missing. Martinelli didn't turn up to the party. You understand?
Didn't come to the party
yes,
as much.
And you know, you just need others to turn up for days where these strikers will face in quotes, Sergio Ramos. You understand? You face, you know, the strong defenders who will obviously cage exactly, and you need someone else to turn up. And you know, you need a balanced team. You need a pretty balanced team. Declan Rice turned up, you know, quite some time last season. Not all the times, but imagine you have like 5 players, solid players who turn up week in, week out for the team. The day Declan Rice or Saka are not turning up, there are 3 other people who could turn up, and they already, you know, almost completed the deal for what's this guy now, Zubimendi. Who knows? Maybe they tried to, you know, to lock up that midfield. And let's see, they need somebody to, you know, keep Martinelli on his toes. They actually need somebody
to keep him alive.
Yes, but signing Gyökeres is not. They are not over the line yet. It's still a big one, because according to Sky Sports, I think Chelsea, is it Chelsea now? There are other teams, 2 big teams who are in for him. Yes, and even Liverpool. I heard Liverpool are, you know, likely in for Gyökeres. And then there's a Manchester United somewhere who has at least a card to play, and they can pull him, because Gyökeres' former coach is the current coach of Manchester United, and just one phone call could change everything. You understand? But then it's one to watch, and it's not just him. I think Victor Osimhen is just one to watch out for.
All right, looks like Victor Osimhen, everything around him right now is pointing towards Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, but we are not too sure. Still sticking with the front page. The most controversial guy in PSG, the most unusual guy in Paris Saint-Germain, is being tipped. I mean, when I mean unusual, I don't mean unusual on the pitch of play. On the pitch of play, he's excellent. He has a great, fantastic CV so far this season. And his manager is tipping him to win the Ballon d'Or. I'm talking about Ousmane Dembele. Very interesting guy. Man just left the pitch one day and went. And then his colleagues said, oh, his wife was having a baby. Interesting. The man just disappeared one day and came back married. You know, Dembele is the guy that they describe as the most, you know, he's just so anti.
No, it's not anti.
You know, he's not like the normal. It's just, I think it's footballers are used to some.
Not all footballers actually.
But he is just.
He values his privacy. Let's just.
That's why they say he's so. Even the celebration. Look at me, his own was different.
I will not do that anymore.
I like that. I don't like the fact that it's just, you know, a little bit of crazy. Let's just. Oh well. But his manager so far this season, though, talking about football now, he has not been injured since he got married. I mean, the kind of injury them boys used to have where he goes for 6 months.
It's been an outstanding.
People said that wife has kept him, you know, sane. He's scoring goals. He's like that marriage changed his life. Wow. Look at him now. They are tipping them both for Ballon d'Or. 4 years ago, you know, you don't have them good and Billy. And look at him now, man. Even his manager says this guy deserves the Ballon d'Or. That in the final he was helping him defend.
Rightly so. You know, I don't think he means towards when he said, you know, he's tipping him for the Ballon d'Or. Because if you look at the lineup of players who would, you know, would likely end up in the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or this season, you name, you know, a certain Dembele.
What names do we have? What names do you think we have?
Oh well, presently.
Does anybody really cut it this
Exactly,
year?
that's it. Because you would mention a certain like Lamine Yamal.
My goodness.
You understand? You would, because you look at the performance.
7 goals in La Liga.
You look at the performance this season. He's won the La Liga. Don't forget that.
He's won his performance.
Hold on. He's won the La Liga. He won. What's the? Is it the Euros? The national.
That was last season.
Was that last season?
That was last season.
But it was towards this season because these are the things that you'd
this guy has
look at.
6
I know,
goals.
I know.
How?
I've not named him, but
Okay.
I'll
You are
in my
naming
top
him.
three.
Okay.
No. In my top three, Dembele would likely be for consideration. What's his name now? Lautaro Martinez would also be in consideration. Well, that's my
Nobody
top
has
three.
had a singular
That's why it's an open.
except
It's
for
an open.
Kylian Mbappe.
It's
But
open.
also does
But
not
he
have
didn't
the
win
trophies to
anything.
back it up.
You see, so
it's
there's some sort of balance and imbalance at the same time.
So do you think Dembele does deserve Ballon d'Or this year?
Oh well, whatever I think would not matter because it's left to those
I know
votes.
I know you're not
You
voting,
understand?
but do you think if they announce Dembele today, do you think people will say, oh, deserved, or people will feel, oh my goodness, Dembele?
Well, I think anybody that wins it this season there will be some sort of question mark over whether this guy didn't win anything or this guy scored. It's just goals.
Right.
There will be some sort of question mark, but it's an open season when it comes to this Ballon d'Or. Do you understand?
All right,
You
still
never
sticking
know
with the
where it
front page before we leave the front page. Mark ter Stegen has said, I am going nowhere. I am here with Barcelona next season. The report of them trying to sign a keeper, well, they've not told me that and I've not confirmed it, but I'm here in Barcelona next season. He was the number one, without a doubt, number one first choice goalkeeper of Barcelona.
Yeah,
Then he
before
got
he got
injured,
injured.
and then they brought
Szczesny.
on Szczesny. And all of a sudden, it looks like, his reports have it that he's probably not as welcome there as he used to be in the past. And the reports now have it that Barcelona are trying to get another goalkeeper. What's going on? This guy was solid number one for
He was.
for
I like
Barcelona.
that, you said he was.
Yeah, but now it looks like, we can do without you, my guy.
Oh well, they actually won the La Liga. For the time that he was, injured, they won quite some games.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there. That is not to, discredit his contribution to, to the team as a whole. However, it's football. If you lose your position, it's quite difficult when they have somebody or the club is trying to to move on because they will look at the age, they will look at what's this guy bringing to the table? Would he be prone to
we just won La
injuries?
Liga, we're hungry now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
or would he be prone to injury? But they cannot rule out the fact that for a large number or period of the season, he was actually in goal and he did absolutely well for for Barcelona. However, he made, I think you quoted him just not too long ago saying that they didn't tell him. The last time I checked,
They don't inform.
They don't inform one.
They
don't
don't inform the GM before.
Exactly. They don't they don't get your consent before making decisions
he's feeling,
like that.
I'll
Or
be-
maybe he's trying to to send a message to the board
Yeah.
that regardless
Tell
of
me what
whoever
you
you're
want
bringing,
or what you don't want. Yeah.
or regardless of whoever you're bringing, I'm still here and I don't want to leave and I'm going to fight for my
I'm in
position.
charge. All
I'm in
right.
charge. But I think it will be wise for himself and his agents to
start looking for an option.
No, before they start doing that, they
Okay.
need to have a a seat with the board and ask questions. You understand? Are you sure you have me in plans? You understand?
Shouldn't
or
Barcelona
whoever
be the
it
one
is you are
calling
bringing.
him? They should be the one calling him and
Oh well,
and saying,
yes, that's true.
Hey,
that's
guy,
true. But in the
as they
spirit
did not
of
come,
in the
you
spirit
see,
of fairness,
you
yes.
can
What's
go.
that saying? If Mohammed does not come to the mountain,
mountain
will
will chill over.
Exactly, so that you don't hear stories that touch
Yeah,
when the
and then next
season
season you start
begins.
sitting
You
on
understand
the
when the
bench.
season begins. So I think he should maybe start looking for options.
All right, and that will be all for us on the front page this morning. There are many other stuff that we've not given to you from on the front page, but hey, do well to visit a vendor and grab a copy. Enjoy the read as the day goes on. Very quickly, we'll be moving on to what we have for you. This past weekend, we saw one final that we should not see again in a very long time. A one-sided UEFA Champions League final. A UEFA Champions League final where after 30 minutes, 35 minutes, personally I was zoning out and what are we watching? At the end of the day, ended 5-0 in favor of Paris Saint-Germain against Inter Milan. They didn't just lose, they lost scandalously. They were bashed, they were battered, they were bruised, they were beaten. What else? What adjective can we use to qualify that game?
And they felt like a pack of cards.
They felt like a pack of cards, obviously. they crumbled like a pack of cards. They were a building without cement, just blocks coming together.
And it came down.
What were they doing? What happened?
Well, that's a big question because I myself did not really understand.
Adekunle Gold
what
said, didn't they train?
Like, so, I was saying it the other time, I think it was some weeks ago, that I hope we had not seen, the actual Champions League or what we expected to be the Champions League final in the semi-final between Barcelona and Inter Milan. Over 2 legs, we saw amazing football. We saw explosive football. We actually saw chaos, the kind of chaos that we expected, in the Champions League final. So at 2-0, I was thinking, what's going on? What's going to happen? At 3-0, I was thinking what's going on. And then the chance fell, to, what's his name now? Thuram. A chance fell to him. And I was like, oh, maybe this could, be it. And then we would relieve, because I was still young. No. Well, because I was still young when AC Milan played.
2005.
I remember watching with my old man. I remember watching that game and I was like, oh, this game is not all but over. You could, feel a little bit
that game was all but over. It didn't even look like Inter Milan were going to come back.
No. I was talking about the Liverpool game.
Oh,
between AC Milan and Liverpool. And then, all of a sudden we saw 3-3 and it went to shootout.
Crazy football.
And then I was thinking, oh, well, 2-0. 3-0. Maybe they could give us, something. You understand? But unfortunately, he ended 5-0 with 2 19-year-olds scoring 3 of those goals. And I'm wondering what happened to Inter Milan. Is this like
how
the
did
Inter
Milan?
Milan? Because so it just showed us what actually happened to them their season, because they had 3 possible. They were chasing 3 trophies.
They could have had a treble.
Yes, and they crumbled just like that, and you're wondering,
and they won
what
nothing.
Happened? And they won nothing. What happened? It was a final, for Christ's sake. It was a final. You understand? Like, I didn't really expect that for a Champions League final.
Lost the league on the last day. Lost the Champions League scandal. Lost against AC Milan in the final.
As of, I think when it was 4-0, it was already a record. Because the last time that, it was a long time ago.
Yes,
and then it was 5-0 and then
they took us
way back, like decades ago. I didn't really happen. But the sad part for me was not the loss. The sad part for me was the fact that when they returned to Milan, I think it was 2 days ago or yesterday, it was actually
just one fan. That's life. Success has many friends, but failure. Just one fan came to welcome them.
Pretty sad.
Just one man.
Pretty sad.
My goodness.
A lot of questions actually.
A
lot of questions, even for the team and the management, because look at the age range of the Milan players.
Yeah, the PSG and then small boys. PSG. Milan are old men.
Exactly, like you wonder. You have what's his name now? Mkhitaryan. You have Damian. You have Chanalogu. And then you have Achebi and who just turned down, somebody you need to credit their story.
Somebody said
you need to credit their stories. No, you need to credit, their individual stories. And then you need to credit the fact that, what's his name now? Inzaghi was able to bring this crop of players together and
2 Champions Leagues in 3 years. 2 Champions League finals in 3 years.
With almost the same, squad. Yeah. Maybe a little change there about Onana not being in this squad, and then maybe 1 or 2 changes. It's amazing what this guy did, but it's unfortunate that they had to go down that way, that they went down 5-0. It was a 5-star performance.
Without a doubt.
Exactly. It just showed that it was a team performance from PSG. Everybody's talking about the fact that Inter Milan lost woefully, but credits should go to PSG.
Yeah.
And in the person of, beginning from the coach, actually, at this point, you're not taking, the shine off the coach. You're not saying, oh, this is an individual, but
he built that team.
Exactly.
PSG have been building for Champions League over the years, but have gotten nothing. They've brought in everybody.
That they could do it
but with boys. Yeah, that's what I'm about. With small young boys.
Everybody, all attention was going to the fact that Mbappe was off that team. But no, people are making mistakes, big mistakes. This is the PSG team that had Ibrahimovic. They had a Pastore. Pastore was the guy. Pastore. You understand? Was the guy, was an absolute, player in Pastore. They had Di Maria. They had Lavezzi. They had what's his name now? Lucas Moura. They had a GOAT, a certain Lionel Messi
who came. There was a Neymar, 2 million euros.
They had Cavani. They had Neymar. You understand?
And
they had all the
Kylian joining later.
Exactly. They had Luis, what's his name now?
Thiago
Silva, David Luiz, name them. They are,
Marquinhos has been there for about 12 years now. He was really crying.
He didn't expect
it anymore. He didn't expect it anymore.
So what a time, to achieve this. And I think people should, should let, what's his name now? Kylian Mbappe rest.
No, they won't allow him
They
rest.
should allow him rest.
He's a marquee
Unfortunately,
player. He must have marquee criticism.
Oh well.
But they said he left and then PSG won. And then Madrid used to win now.
That's a lie. He scored
Well, it's normal.
at least
It's
30
normal.
goals, if I'm not mistaken.
It's normal.
For Real Madrid. Yeah,
it's not
normal.
good to
You
say
know,
things
kudos
like that.
to what's his name now? What's their name now? PSG. You know, you need to look at that. Their midfield, the trio. They had a Vitinha. Thank you very much.
Vitinha.
A Vitinha that was in Wolves and was
surrendering to the Wolves.
Yeah. He was struggling. He couldn't keep up with the packs. You understand? He couldn't keep up.
Look at him leading the pack of Wolves.
Leading the pack.
We Paris
amazing.
Now, let's talk about Simeone. Had a lot of issues before the final. In fact, I had to tell the press at the pre-Champions League final game that, guys, I'm not here to talk about me.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about the game. Stop asking me about me. I'll speak with the owners after. But you know, there was emotions all over him. Eventually got yellow carded in his last game of the season.
He has always been emotional.
Yeah,
he has always been.
He was red carded. You know, he just felt like the frustration. You know, they were losing and he was still playing the same pattern, changing the boys, putting new boys. You know, he wasn't changing pattern. He was just changing the boys, probably thinking the machinery was not good enough. But the more he was removing, the more he was chopping. The more he was still doing. He was not ready to. You know, I think he was just frustrated. His head was just. I think he lost the game in his head. Really, if you ask me.
I don't know how he lost the game, but something amazing happened. You know, in that final is the fact that PSG could actually open up the ever so sturdy defense of Inter Milan. Inter Milan have been credited for exactly. They've been credited for their defense, but it's. I don't understand how they were able to pick the spaces.
That three at the back failed.
Exactly.
Failed.
He actually did. And, you know, man, what could we say? Because if I'm not mistaken now, I think right now, he's having that discussion with Inter Milan, the ownership, you know, for his contract, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, whatever they decide, either ways, it's still more money for him. If he goes to Saudi, it's more money. All right, cool cash.
I feel like, you know, he's doing something right, but perhaps the finishing touch is what is lacking. Two Champions League finals in 3 years.
Who knows?
He lost against City the other time. This time around, he has lost again against Paris Saint-Germain. And, you know, I'm so sure wherever he is right now, he's probably just thinking, I hadn't 180 minutes.
One more try.
180 minutes. The other day, 90 minutes. Today, 90 minutes. What happened to us in 3 years? Why did you crumble like a pack of cards? Why did you fall like a house without cement? But hey, it happens. It happens. Very quickly, we switch over to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, where we were in opposite mood to that of Inter Milan. Unity Cup, like I think some people have come up to say now that Unity Cup is ours. Because the last time the tournament came up, Nigeria won it. And this time around, our coach felt, let's have a lot of young MPFL guys coming. Sadiq Ismaila, Unduka Jr., Sikiru Alimi, you know, Papa, a lot of all these guys coming in, mixing with the big boys. And against Ghana and against Jamaica, even though the game against Jamaica, we'll come and talk about it, where we led and then we allowed them back into the game.
They actually led first.
Of course. We led. You know, we think, but against Ghana, even though, you know, it's just, they are friendly games, let's be honest. But what can we say about what we saw, especially from the new guys? The Brentford young man who was coming from Simon's
that's absolutely amazing.
Academy, who just moved. I saw a picture of him and Ndidi just 3 years ago, and he was looking like bros. Bros, make I snap.
You never know where life
2005, and he was looking really solid. Let's just quickly analyze Super Eagles, guys. Really.
Oh well, I think it's quite easy to say that they did like a good job. They did a good job, you know, and you know you want to keep this positive feeling in the camp. You know, it keeps, you know, it also improves the belief in the coach himself, because if you had gone to, you know, this friendly tournament, permit me to use
a friendly tournament.
If you had gone
to first trophy,
I hope we don't end up like Arsenal anyways. But anyways, I'm not throwing shades. But if you had, you know, gone to this tournament and, you know, and has not been able to win something, it will be pretty difficult for. Now, I'm not talking in terms of trophy, but actually win a match. It will be pretty difficult for him to convince the Super Eagles players that they can actually go, you know, to the World Cup. That they can actually, you know, like, you know, fight for the ticket. Because it could be that you couldn't win with the home base
the history of losing will have affected us. You're trying to say,
I mean,
exactly. We feel like even in friendly games we couldn't win, so the morale have been down.
Exactly. So I think it's just a good one, you know. we can't judge him based on this, this tournaments. But what we are going to judge him will be absolutely the World Cup qualifiers and then the nations.
But we have another friendly against Russia
on Friday.
I
think by 4 p.m.
Interestingly, it's a holiday for Nigeria. So hey, perhaps more people will be watching it. But quick one, what do you think we should have? Some persons have said we know Stanley Nwabali is our number one goalkeeper. Why did you not start another goalkeeper so that we can test him?
Exactly.
Some people said no, we needed Nwabali. Nigerians and opinions and counter opinions and all of that. Hey, don't start Kelechi Iheanacho. Kelechi Iheanacho should not even be playing at communion at all. Why is Bosi Simon playing? He's a starter. He's a regular. Start the small boys. No, don't put MPFL players. No, put MPFL players. What should he do really?
What should he do? He knows what to do. He's in the best position to do what he feels, is right for, for the team. But I think what I'm most, happy about is the fact that he had more homegrown players. So when it comes to the World Cup qualifiers, now he could actually say, "Oh, this person is outstanding. We could pick this guy." And then there was this guy, Felix Agu, if I'm not mistaken, who I think he could have played for, is it Germany now?
Yeah.
And then decided to
play for the Super
He
Eagles.
was in tournament. So you look at all.
I don't think he could have played for Germany. But
Maybe. So you look at all these guys, and they are options. That's the best thing when you have options. So any day that maybe what's his name now, God forbid,
Injuries.
I'm not wishing, exactly. I know he's injured. You could say, oh, there's somebody here who could who could deputize for him, come and play too, without us sweating. You understand? And then there's Cyril Desas who, it's shown that he can exactly. You recall the game against Manchester United, it was an absolute threat against Manchester United. You understand? So these guys, he has seen what they can do. He's seen their capabilities and he's seen how how they could actually fit into his plans.
Yeah,
so I think that's the best one for him.
All right. Like anything I said, though, shout out to all these wins and the Unity Cups and all of the cups. But bro, the World Cup ticket is very paramount. And absolutely. Like anything I said, we just need to win games and just be hopeful that something bad happens in other stadiums.
Before you hope, just win games. That's my own. Just win games.
All right. Very quickly, let's inform you that on the 1st of June 2025, the transfer window was declared opened. And the first big transfer so far has to be Matheus Cunha from Wolves moving to. Yeah, it was a big transfer. It was a big transfer. Is Manchester United a big club? Is Matheus Cunha is actually a big player, if we are being honest. I mean, look at his performances in the last 2 years
compared
with Wolves, 62 million pounds, big money.
I'm not watering down his qualities or the move, but when you say big player, when you talk about big
players. He's a big player.
Okay.
He's a big player. I mean, I think he's a big player. He plays for the Brazilian national team. Top lad, really. Wolves just came in.
Is he in the lineup for? Is he in the list?
I think he's on. Yes, he's in the list. Yes, he is. It's only the injured guys that did not make.
Let's just agree that it's a big move.
Yeah, it's a big move. Really, it's a big move. If it was not a big move, that Manchester United that really does not have too much money now won't be splashing 62 million to get him. Really, and he can play as AM, can play as CF. He can even come into the middle and play as a 10 if need be. So the beginning of more transfers to come. That's just what I'm trying to say. What other boys are we going to be expecting at new places? There's also Frimpong, who has moved for 29.5 million from Bayern Leverkusen to Liverpool. His former colleague Florian Wirtz is probably going to be on his way as well from Leverkusen.
They're expecting, I think, 150 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, north of 100 million.
Oof.
I don't know if it's worth it really.
But
just shows you that
it's the Premier League. It's going to put a lot of pressure on.
What other transfers are we expecting? What big names?
Delap has completed
his move to Chelsea.
The first round of his what's it called? What's it called? The first round of medicals. Thank you very much to Chelsea. So it's almost certain that he's going to end up in Chelsea.
Of course, 30 million.
Yeah.
Because of Champions League football, it dished Manchester United. I will do that.
Oh well, and Troy Deeney is saying that he should have joined Manchester United.
Which Troy Deeney?
You know Troy Deeney.
Oh, okay, that Watford guy. Oh, sorry. I thought
so you know
it was the Ronaldinho or Messi talking about that. All right. We just hope that when these transfers are done and dusted in a couple of months' time, Nigerian players will be on the list. Perhaps Ademola Lookman to Arsenal. That reports have it that Arsenal want him. Some other person said Juventus want him. By the way, he was in Lagos a couple of days ago with his own trophy. That Osimhen picture of the other day. Looks like everybody's now copying that style. A nice one. Equally met the Nigerian president. It's a small league, a league of Nigerian players that have won the African Ballon d'Or, like Fabrizio was calling it. All right. A good one. We just hope that our boys will get great clubs and they earn good money and they flex their guys and probably take them to celebrate like Victor Osimhen did to about 15 persons. A good list that I need to probably like to be a part of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would like to be a part of that list, Osimhen.
All right, this is where we'll be ending the show for this day. It's a new month. Welcome to June. Not too much of footballing activities, but hey, sporting activities never close. My name is Shegun Odua. I'm saying have yourselves a fantastic week. Stay out of trouble. Bye for now. God bless you.